Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP might be dating a child molester. Am I the butthole for breaking off my engagement with my fiancé because of his creepy comments towards my 14-year-old sister? I'm a 21-year-old woman, and I'm in a tough situation. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, so I need some outside perspective. I've been with my fiancé, Charles, who's 35. Yo, OP is 20 and he's 35, okay. Yo, that's almost double her age, wow, for about 2 years, and everything seemed fine until recently. A few weeks ago, my 14-year-old sister, Amy, came to stay with us for just a few days while our parents were out of town. During her stay, I started noticing some really unsettling things. At first, I thought that I was imagining it, but Charles started making comments that made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. He would call my sister so hot and would say things like, "You're gonna turn heads when you're older," and "You've got such a body on you already." The worst part was when he said, "I'd be jealous if I were your boyfriend. Every guy will be looking at you soon." I tried to ignore it at first, but it kept happening, and I began to feel sick to my stomach. Then, one evening, I overheard him telling a friend on the phone, "Amy's got that look now. It's like she's starting to bloom." It was honestly one of the creepiest things I've ever heard. I felt like I was losing my mind, and I just knew that I couldn't stay in that relationship anymore. I confronted him about his behavior, and he immediately got defensive. He denied it and said that I was being paranoid and that I should trust him. He insisted that he was just being nice and that I was overreacting. I didn't care. I packed my things, broke off my engagement, and moved back in with my parents. Now, my friends and some family members are telling me that I overreacted. They say that I should have talked it out with him first, but I don't see how that would have changed anything. You know, what's crazy about this is if you give the dude in this story the most insane benefit of the doubt and assume that the 14-year-old girl is actually, 24, and he were talking about the 24-year-old sister this way, that would still be grounds for breaking up. Just constantly drooling over your fiance's sister is wildly inappropriate. But then you add in the fact that she's 14 and not 24, and that just multiplies the grossness by like times 10. So OP, don't just drop the fiancé, drop all the friends who are defending him too. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving him 4 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to share my biological kid's funds with my stepchildren? I'm a 40-year-old woman, and I have a 17-year-old son. We lost his dad when I was 28. It was hard for us. We didn't have time to build a massive fortune. But from his insurance and other investments, I created a trust fund for my son, and the money there is around $150,000. I've done well career-wise, and I'm employed at a government job. It's a secure job until the age of 60, it pays decently, and I live an upper-middle-class lifestyle. I met my new husband when I was 30 and he was 32 during some event. We connected from day one, and a year later we got married. My husband has twins, a 15-year-old boy and girl. Their mother is involved in their life, and my husband made it clear from day one that our children's finances will be kept separate. We share grocery, necessities, and clothing funds, but savings and school fees are kept separately. We also own our separate homes. I'm currently living at his house and renting out my own. The money that I make from rent is used exclusively on whole family travels. My son and his kids get along fine, but they don't call us parents or each other siblings. We also have a daughter together who's 7. Also, I save a lot for our young daughter, as she won't have my son's trust fund and I want to secure her future. The recent issue is that my son currently has that trust fund, and he wants to study in Australia and is preparing to move next year. My husband's children has their own fund. However, the maximum that he can contribute to each child's fund is $25,000. He lost money on gambling, and his ex-wife doesn't save. My husband started saying that we should join all of our funds and is pressuring my son. My son was giving in, but I refused. I said that it was my son's inheritance from his dad, and that can't cover the loss of his father. My husband exploded and verbally abused us in anger. I also didn't hold back. He slapped me. For the first time ever in life, he hit me. We sorted out things later, but I'm not going to give up this fund. My stepchildren, who have always been cordial to me, are suddenly calling me an evil monster. These are the same kids that I prepare meals for every morning at 6 a.m. I wash their clothes and iron them. I buy them clothes and other things despite my husband barely doing these things for my son. If combined, the fund will come out to $83,000 for each. And yeah, it would still cover the Australian education for all three, but I'm not going to do that. His children also want to go to Australia now. My son said that he doesn't want my marriage to fail, and he would give away the money if it would make me happy. I said no, and I said that his future can't be compromised. I told my husband that it isn't my fault that he was careless in our 9 years of marriage. He never acted like this, and he's been giving me the cold treatment ever since. My marriage is on the verge of breaking, but I can't deny my son his rights. I know that if I say yes, he'll happily share the money, but I won't. I would rather burn. But I'm crying with the way that my man is treating me. My parents are saying that I won't find a man later and to compromise and make peace. They said the fight was a one-time thing, and we're expected to adjust. Also, I want to give him a chance as long as he stops harassing my son. My friends are saying that it's tough to find a man again when you're a widow and then divorced. Then OP posted an update, which is a bit dry, so I'll just summarize. Basically, OP decided to forgive him, and they're going to therapy. I'll read this part here. My husband admitted to the slap in front of my parents, and my old father was about to beat him. My husband apologized deeply, and he also told his family about this, who shamed him. I know that I might get labeled a doormat here, but if he's willing to work on it, then that works for me. He's trying to leave his alcohol and gambling addiction. I'll overlook his spending now and give him fund money every month for his own expenses. He decided to hand me control of most of the funds. I feel like we're going in the right direction. Also, OP mentions that the stepchildren apologized to OP. Well, OP, I hope it works out, but to be honest, I'm not super optimistic. Once things get violent, once one person in the relationship lays their hands on the other person in the relationship, I think it's dead. There's no coming back from that. So, good luck, OP. I think you're gonna need it. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm proud of you for standing up for your son. I'm giving your husband 4.5 out of 5 buttholes. The dude drinks, gambles, hits women, and tries to steal from his children. Maybe 5 out of 5 buttholes? Am I the butthole for rage quitting after I lost an election? I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I've been a member of a large volunteer organization for several years. I'm one of the longest-standing members. I've spent hundreds of hours on various aspects of it. I've held small leadership positions in almost every area, and I have a large amount of experience being the president of another organization as well. When I first joined, things were not doing well, so I, along with others, worked our butts off to improve that, and we did. In fact, we did so well with improving the atmosphere that we had a massive amount of incoming members, who quickly became very close with each other, something we specifically encouraged. And to have absolutely no idea how bad things used to be, or how much behind-the-scenes work it takes to maintain the way things are now. I ran for president in the most recent election. I ran against 5 other candidates. 4 of us had years of experience and had been preparing our campaign for months, if not years. One person, Alex, was extremely new, like a few weeks, and had 0 experience at all. And he decided to run last minute and had a very large friend group with other new members. Alex was barely allowed to run due to how new they were, but made the cut by a handful of days. You can see where this was going. The vote was extremely close between me and Alex, and I lost by 1 vote. The rest of the elected officials were all new members of the same friend group, also without experience. Then it was discovered that 9 to 10 votes, specifically the votes of other people in leadership positions who work closely with me, were not counted. This wasn't intentional or malicious, simply a computer error. Apparently, every single one of those uncounted people voted for me. Technically, I won. They tried to get the election results overturned because of it, but higher-ups wouldn't allow it because they feared that it would look like favoritism. At the end of the day, I was told to keep quiet and not let anyone know about this. That brings me to my current situation. Because nobody on the new executive team has any experience, I started facing a lot of pressure to take on a lower leadership position solely to guide them and ensure our hard work doesn't go to hell. I absolutely refused. In fact, I've decided to drop all leadership roles and do absolutely nothing this year. This has led to multiple people telling me that I don't truly care about the organization, that I'll be responsible if it falls apart, etc. I feel like it's a slap in the face to expect me to do what a president does without the title to show it. Am I the butthole for dropping all leadership positions and letting the new team do whatever the hell they want to do? Actually, it will be the president of the organization's fault if everything goes to hell. OP, this is just people trying to guilt trip you to get free labor out of you. And you've already given enough free labor, so do what you want to do. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to babysit my deceased best friend's kids after her husband's betrayal? My best friend Emma passed away from cancer 2 years ago. We were like sisters. She was my maid of honor, I was hers. When she was diagnosed, I was her primary caregiver, helping her through chemo and spending every possible moment with her. Her husband, Mike, was a different story. During her treatment, I discovered that he was having an affair with a coworker. Emma knew, but was too sick to deal with the drama. After she died, I confronted Mike, telling him that he was a disgrace. He begged me to keep it from the kids, who are 9 and 6. Last week, Mike called me asking to regularly babysit. Apparently, his affair partner is now his live-in girlfriend. She's some AI art influencer with 50,000 followers who posts AI pictures of cats wearing clothes. And they want free time. He had the audacity to say that Emma would have wanted me to help for the kids. I told him absolutely not. The thought of babysitting while he lives with the woman who betrayed Emma makes me sick. Some say the kids are innocent and need support, others think that I'm justified. Mike is now telling everyone that I've abandoned Emma's children. My own family is pressuring me, saying that I'm being vindictive. Am I the butthole? You know what I don't understand after reading literally thousands and thousands of Reddit posts is how is it that every single human being on Earth seems to have this group of friends who literally just don't understand basic morality? This is one of the most cut and dry, wow, Mike is a horrible human being, this is not Emma's responsibility, stories that you could possibly imagine. So who are these friends who are like, I don't know, Mike makes a really good point. I mean, yeah, he cheated on his dying wife who died of cancer, but let's cut the guy some slack. Who are these people? I like this reply from Left Ad, not the butthole. Give the cheater the contact details of your mutual friends and family who think otherwise. Right? OB, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the cheater, I think 4.5 out of 5 buttholes. These stupid friends that are in every story, where they're all just so stupid, I'm giving them 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for leaving in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner because of pumpkin pie? I'm a 32-year-old woman, and my mother, who's 60, hosts Thanksgiving dinner at her house every year. It's a small event, and my parents, me, my brother's family, and my sister-in-law's family attend. We avoid family quarrels by implementing a strict no politics rule and trying our best to be civil. I should probably mention that we're not a particularly close-knit family. We rarely see each other beyond these events since my brother lives in South Africa, and I travel a lot due to my work. Thanksgiving is important to my mom since it's one of the rare times that we're all together. Anyway, the main problem I have with my mother is her constant critique of me. She has a habit of making passive-aggressive comments about my life choices, from my career to my lack of children to the way I dress. I've addressed this with her multiple times, but she doesn't really seem to be aware of it. My father claims that it's just her way of fussing and expressing that she cares. It does hurt though, because my brother is never criticized in the same manner. I can't entirely fault her for her criticism, since I did majorly mess up my life a few months ago. Depression, and it's affected her opinion of me negatively. It doesn't excuse the way that I acted, but I just wanted to explain why I left. By the time we finished dinner, I was a bit prickly because of some of her commentary. Now, I made a cake for dessert. I was explicitly put in charge of it, and no one specified what exactly I should make, so I opted for maple cheesecake. I did my best, and I think it looked okay. Mom normally makes pumpkin pie, but I really hate pumpkins. They make me gag. So I thought perhaps we could try something new. As I was bringing out the cheesecake, my mom eyed it somewhat warily and announced that she had decided to make the usual pie as well. This caught me off guard. I asked why she didn't tell me beforehand, and she said something like, "Well, we figured you'd do your own thing, so I thought it was best to have a backup." She went on to cut the pie and serve it to everyone, instructing me to leave the cheesecake in the kitchen. When someone asked to try my dessert, she said, "Let's not mix too many flavors at once," which just felt passive-aggressive. I know that it's immature for an adult to get this upset over a triviality, but I just politely refused as she was handing me a slice of pie, retrieved my coat, and left. People were calling after me, I think, but at that point I was crying for some reason, and it would have been too humiliating to have an emotional outburst in front of everyone for no real reason. My mom just texted me saying that it was incredibly rude and immature of me to leave like that, especially on Thanksgiving. My brother also sent me a message saying that I'm acting irrationally. I feel horrible for leaving so abruptly, especially because my parents are getting older and we're already not close. Something about my mother seems to turn me into a neurotic teenager, and I hate it. OP, what do you mean something about your mother? It's pretty obvious. She's just a butthole. Did she really tell you to make a dessert just so that she could embarrass you in front of everyone and make everyone not eat your dessert? Was that her whole plan? I don't blame you, OP. She sounds exhausting. Why would you even go to Thanksgiving in the first place? OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your mom 2.5 out of 5 buttholes and the rest of your family 1.5. Am I the butthole for ruining Thanksgiving after my boyfriend announced my pregnancy and his mom fainted? Alright, so I'm a 20-year-old woman and my boyfriend Jake is 22. I went to Jake's family Thanksgiving dinner last week. We'd been dating a year, and this was my first time meeting the whole squad, so I was already kinda nervous. Before we left, Jake joked about how his family was super traditional and said that I should be ready for some old-fashioned vibes. I just laughed it off. Dinner starts and everything's fine until Jake suddenly goes, "Hey everyone, we have big news." I'm sitting there like, what big news? Then he grins at me and says, "Tell him, babe." I'm panicking, so I just sit there confused. And his mom is already emotional, asking if we're engaged or something. Then Jake drops, "She's pregnant!" Y'all, I am not pregnant. I immediately start denying it, but Jake's cracking up, saying it's just a joke and telling me to play along. His family is not laughing. His mom legit faints, and his dad starts yelling, and his grandma is praying under her breath. I'm mortified. I stand up and go, "Actually, the real joke is Jake thinking that I would stay with someone who'd pull this," and I walked out. Jake's been blowing up my phone saying that I embarrassed him and ruined Thanksgiving. His family is apparently mad at me for causing drama, but I didn't announce a fake pregnancy and traumatize his mom. Am I the butthole for walking out and leaving him to deal with this mess? OP, you'd be crazy not to leave this crazy family. Anyone blaming you is straight up bonkers. Jake also sounds like a really terrible boyfriend. So I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving Jake 2.5 out of 5 buttholes, and the family that judges you 1.5. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.